Now, what is up? Man, y'all are for sure. This is different now. Like, y'all are not used to this level of like Afrocentric now, but it's very much okay because we know Nell will get back to super motherfucking being glammed up later today. However, it beats coming on this joint the with the Afro puffs. So, without further ado, y'all know how we like to get started. We like to get started, of course, with our little song because what Nelly always preaching fucking loyalty out this joint. Because a lot of the times, we get so caught up in the world, like we be forgetting like what shit is supposed to be and what shit is not supposed to be in a sense. However, you know, let's start off with our song, then we'll come back to introductions, of course. All right. Y'all know the vibes. You okay? Loyalty. Loyalty a lot, but you ain't never.
Loyalty a lot when you ain't never really trust nobody. I got plans for me, you ain't here, I guess you ain't it. Sin, keep rumbling the trauma like I'm Tyson. Been through all the
That's
drama,
how we
baby,
always
I
get
ain't tryna
started.
wife you. Cause you know this shit been over with. Yeah, my time has been running out. Yeah, you know this shit been over with. Yeah, my time has been running out. Moving on,
Moving
I
on my
know
own, I
that I
know
can
that I can
never
never
pull
pull
wrong.
around.
Baby, that's why I go in the booth and go and make these songs. So the bitch be careful with me, yeah. Ain't never tripping about your ex situations. Just treat me like I'm more than that. Just treat me like I'm more than that. I'm coming straight up out the mind. I'm
I'm
still
still
with it
with it
if I
if I
gotta
gotta
break a
break a
bill with
bill
you.
with you.
Deal with it if they decide to burn the bridges.
Shout
Don't
out
put
to
it on the
Jay.
floor. Do you even know the cause? Praise God, cause he gon' give me more. I
I
told him to
told
be
him to be
careful with
careful with
me, yeah.
me,
Cause
yeah.
I'm the one that get you bitches turned up on
Up
the
on the
weekend. Tired
weekend.
of being the one that's always there when they
You
don't got
don't got
nobody. I
nobody.
know she ain't leaving, she just want me to feel her heart. Want me to feel how she feel, just tryna leave a mark.
Okay? If you ain't leaving your mark, you out here just
Moving on my
doing
own, I know
nothing.
that I can never prove her wrong. Baby,
Baby,
that's why
that's
I
why
go
I
in the
wrote a
booth and
book
go
and
and
go
make
and
these
make it
songs. I told
so.
her, just be careful with me, yeah. Ain't never tripping about your ex situations. Just treat
Don't
me
trip
like I'm
about
more than
shit
that.
like
Just treat me
that.
like I'm more than that. Ain't nothing like your ex situations.
Okay?
So
It's
much
so
more to the
there's
story, but
always
I
more to
really
this
don't wanna get in
story.
that. Just
Okay?
hit a pull wrong
Today
and
we
maybe
get
give him
into
swag.
it.
Rather talk about my future cause it's coming fast. You know you thinking wrong if you ever thought I was last. In love with all my bitches, even ones that's doing bad.
Okay,
Why should
Jay.
I do the sense when they push me to that? I feel like they
You
just want
just
me to
want me to
crash.
cry.
But this ain't that, so yeah, for sure I gotta keep it G. Keep it
Keep it
street, keep
street,
it
keep
G.
it street,
Forever
forever
rolling with
rolling
my
with my
peace.
peace.
I've been this way since they enrolled me in elementary. I feel like they just want me to crash.
Okay.
I'm on the way, you know these
That's why you
SRTs
can't
be
let them.
running out.
Ooh,
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 ooh, ooh,
ooh,
ooh. It's
ooh.
always
So the
good
good
vibes to
vibes
me.
to me.
Sometimes I act a fool.
Ooh,
Ooh, still
ooh,
proving
ooh,
wrong.
rock.
Ooh, right back
Right
in
back
my
in my
zone.
song.
Loyalty, loyalty,
Loyalty.
loyalty.
Loyalty
I
a
love
lot,
you
but you
ain't
ain't
never.
never.
Loyalty a
Loyalty a
lot when
lot,
you
but you
ain't
ain't
never
never
really
really
trust
trust
nobody. I
nobody.
got plans for me, you ain't here. I guess you ain't invited. Keep rumbling the
Rubbing them
trauma like
trouble
I'm
like I'm
Tyson. Been
Tyson.
through all the drama, baby. I ain't tryna wife ya. Cause you
Okay?
know this shit been over with. Yeah, my
It's
time has
been
been
over
running
with.
out. Yeah, you know this shit been
My
over with.
time never running out,
Yeah, my
but
time has
y'all
been
good.
running out. Moving on
Moving
my
on my
own, I
own,
know
I
that
know
I
that
can
I can
never
never
prove
prove it
wrong.
wrong,
Baby,
baby.
that's why
That's
I
why
go
I
in the
go in the
booth and
booth
go
and
and
go
make
and
these
make it
songs. So
so.
the bitch be careful with me, yeah. Ain't never tripping about your ex situations. Just treat me
Don't
like
trip
I'm more
about
than that.
shit. If you ain't treating a bitch like she royalty, you gotta get the fuck on out of here. They always say it best. That's why she be our intro. Loyalty a lot when you ain't never really trust nobody. Okay? You ain't invited. Y'all know how I feel about my unicorn club. Tyson. Okay? Listen, they couldn't have said it better. Treat a bitch like she royalty, or you gotta get the fuck on out of here. Now, top of the morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. You guys are on Talk Time with the Donnelly, aka Unicorn Donnelly Box Show. Now, this is the time y'all been waiting for because why? Nelly get on this joint, and when I get to popping my shit and going, y'all know what time it is. However, today you guys are going to get the official full fucking coverage of the story because it's getting to a point to where as though when you have the naysayers coming in and they don't know what they're talking about or not even like necessarily know what they're talking about, they're passing judgment on situations to where as though they really should be minding their business or being on some stuff like, hey, stripper, leave that girl alone and stop the nonsense. Like I cannot make this up to you guys YouTube. So many people come in my DM, and I would say it's only negative if it's coming from like someone that knows the girl, but people that knows my story that I've been telling like for since it happened, since I was placed in that situation, at this point, people is going directly at her. So, of course, I could be a little rough around the edges, and Nelly right here, she's going to help pull it out in a more, in a more calm, centrated space so that a lot of those questions that y'all want answered could get answered without me going off on y'all. So, without further ado, we got Nelly with the, with the I at the end, not the Y at the end. But I'm gonna let her take it
Yeah,
away.
it's Chanel and Chanel time. It's the
Okay,
nails.
the motherfucking
It's the
nose.
nails. So yeah, so I just based on also a lot of questions that I get, I'm like, let me come up with some things. And I think what we were trying to figure out is, or the topic is when dating a married man goes wrong, terribly
Hmm.
wrong. And the first thing that I want to ask you is, so you and your estranged husband also have an older child, and how was that pregnancy and that experience?
With my older child,
Mm-hmm.
so with my older child, we'll just say abbreviated K. Um, that pregnancy was okay, I would say, until the end of the pregnancy. Towards the end of my pregnancy, Kyrie stepped out of the relationship. Then, of course, we were not married, but he definitely did step out of the relationship. And 7.5, almost 8 months pregnant, I'm thinking like, I got a yeast infection. Turns out I had chlamydia. So, um, back, this was 11 years ago. Like when that happened, like it didn't right away break up the relationship, but it definitely did put like a strain on the relationship because it's like, you know, if someone's pregnant, you're definitely supposed to it's that's sacred times. Even though like I know men step out and men cheat, I just felt like it was a way in how certain stuff should have been done. I don't think like my life or my health should have ever been at risk. But even back then, like when it happened, I lied to you now. I think I had a baby shower going on, and like during the time frame of like my baby shower, like I had to pull him outside, and I'm like, oh, like you gave me fucking chlamydia, and I'm like 7.5, 8 months pregnant. So it was a big thing, and like what's crazy because I definitely wish I still had like my old Facebook because like my old Facebook got all these photos and like you could tell like when you go from being super happy to like something being wrong and everybody noticing something wrong like at the baby shower. So it was definitely like one of those type of situations because it was like, damn, no, like you just was okay, but like you just switched up. So it's like the people, like of course, like those people are still my friends to this day, but that was basically like the switch up. Like it was like,
So,
I got
so you saying originally pregnancy was fine, relationship was fine up until your baby shower.
up into my baby shower. Yeah, I had no idea like he was cheating or stepping out or anything like that.
Okay. And then, so once you found out because of what you didn't feel right. So you approached them like, hey, I don't feel right, something not right. And that's when you realized something was going on. And
So honestly, like it was a regular GYN visit. At that point, I think you're like every 2 weeks. So it was like I was up on a time frame for my like GYN visit, but I still didn't feel I didn't feel like as a womanly woman down there. So I think my appointment was like a Thursday, but because I had problem symptoms, my GYN brought me in like that Monday afternoon or early Tuesday morning or something like that. You know what's crazy? I could probably log into my chart and actually tell you because all that stuff is still like in there. But it had to been like the moment that I called her and was like, hey, something's going on. Like she pulled me in sooner than my actual appointment.
okay. Mm-mm-mm. And how would you say that experience changed you as a person and as a mother, just dealing with that situation?
So even back then, dealing with the situation, it definitely put me on guard because like that was the first time I actually got an STD. Like I'm pretty transparent about like the two times that I did have an STD. It was like one in that relationship and one like with my other son's father. But you pregnant, I'm thinking to myself like, all right, damn, I've been being careful this long of a time, like how the hell did I get an STD while I was pregnant? But like even back then, like Kyrie would like to play mind games, and like the mind games would be, oh, I didn't do anything, and it's like, bro, chlamydia doesn't come from nowhere, so it's impossible that you didn't do anything. So it was like it started so much turmoil because even back then, like I said, he didn't want to be accountable for the fact that he's like it wasn't a marriage then, it was just a relationship that he stepped
Mm-hmm.
out of a relationship, and I was almost 8 months pregnant and he gave me chlamydia.
So based on that experience and this experience, do you just feel like this is also a reason why you have to promote safe sex? You know.
So I feel like me going through the first experience with Kyrie and him giving me chlamydia when I was like almost 8 months pregnant, I feel like that's what had the guard up. Like I feel like even though it transpired to the point to where as though like he eventually got forgiven and we got to the point of actually getting married, I didn't just jump into a sexual relationship with him. Like I very much like made it to where as though let's get tested first, like everything was just like so like in stages in order to protect me in a situation like that. So it definitely opened up my eyes, and this is how like I seen the red flags of him stepping out before like I was even able to contract a STD this time.
Right. Okay, so then you have that experience, you realize, okay, this is somebody who, like, I thought I was building a life with, but I need to step back, I need to raise my child. How was co parenting with him for that first child y'all had together?
Actually fucking horrible at first. Oh my goodness. I went through a time frame to where as though I did not speak to Kyrie at all because it was like literally he jumped on allowing females to like disrespect me. And it was like what was crazy, like one of the girls was a coworker of mine, and I'm not gonna mention her name because again, we got to a point to where as though we were mature enough to like handle things, but she wasn't first. It was another female. It was this girl called Imani, and he was calling this girl his cousin. This is like throughout our relationship, and then it was like when I noticed that they were like messing around, like the girl would like aggressively like just be disrespectful towards me. So during that time frame when she was like aggressively being disrespectful towards me and stuff, it was so much turmoil because it was like it was court. Then families get to going back and forth at each other. Like it got so bad one time, like with the disrespect, I cannot make this up to you. I think I was like hanging out with one of my closest friends, and actually like she's still one of my closest friends to this day, and this is why I moved down Texas. But I went into the clock bar to like get a drink, and she was with me. And I told her, I was like, yeah, go ahead and leave because like I see Kyrie and I'm about to beat him the fuck up. So she was like, wait a minute, what happened? Because I'm like, no, I'm sick of him allowing females to disrespect me. Now, mind you, YouTube and Twitch, I have other kids' fathers, and I never went through this level of disrespect from no one. Like, it's like if relationships don't work out, that doesn't mean you allow complete strangers to disrespect you. So to me, I just had it to the roof at that point with disrespect. I told her to leave, but I didn't even pay attention if she left or not. I literally waited for him to come outside of the clock bar. I three-pieced him. Next thing I know, my girlfriend fucking three-pieced him, kicked him on the ground, and we was stomping him. So next thing you know, the security guards was like, well, wait, what happened? And like, of course, in that situation, like I'm emotional, but it's like, no, he's going to stop allowing people to disrespect me. And I have his fucking son. So at that point, Kaden was definitely like my only son. So, I mean, it got kind of crazy. They let us beat him the fuck up. He tried. Then it was like, of course, like his aunts and cousins wanted to get involved afterwards. But like, it's one thing to where as though I feel like everybody has family members that quote unquote claim, oh, yeah, they're about their life. But like, it's like to an extent, I feel like my outward appearance would really be taken for granted because it's like, it's never that. So it's like once it got like heated to that point to where as though it was like really volatile, like they
When you say disrespect, so at the time that the clockwork incident happened, how old was y'all child together?
our child was 2, but when I say disrespect, I mean allowing females to call me and cuss me out about nothing really. Like it was like it could be he was upset that he was on child support then, but when he was on child support then, I believe I would like so as of now, I probably get around like 2 grand a month, whereas though it's supposed to be 4 grand a month. Back then I was probably getting like 4.5, like almost 5 grand a month because like my bi-weekly amount was like 1,500 or something like that. So it was just all over him feeling a way about me getting child support. And it's like the female at that time frame, and like I said, I believe this girl name was Amani because it was a really big thing. She kept on disrespecting me, and it's like, oh, bitch, take care of your kid. You're a bad mom, bitch. How the fuck am I not taking my care of my kid, and I'm a bad mom because I'm getting child support? And I feel like back then, that's where it drew a wedge between us because I stopped speaking to Kyrie for years. Like when I'm talking co-parenting, like it hardly was a co-parenting situation. Like I don't think I started allowing
Right.
Kaden to go back around him until Kaden was close to kindergarten age. Like Kaden had to been like 5 because prior to Kaden being 5, it's like he would see Kaden every once in a blue, but he would be on child support because it was just behind like the blatant disrespect that just kept coming from him. But what I
So
was go ahead.
so okay. So just to be all the way like make it clear. So you did attempt, even after you had a pretty much a rough pregnancy, you did attempt to try to have a co-parenting relationship with him. At that time, it didn't work. Um, y'all really couldn't find a way to co-parent effectively. And then at some point, a few years went on, and then you eventually were able to co-parent with him. And so at some point, you did find some kind of middle ground.
So the middle ground was, and I'm not going to lie to you, the middle ground is when my son's dad came along, when King and Kai's dad came along. When King and Kai's dad came along, he still was pretty bitter, pretty like just disrespectful and shit. It's just I barely dealt with him. He would come around probably like once or twice a month, like when we would do like the exchange for Caden. And I would say like Caden would probably stay like a week or so with him. But when my son's dad came along and my son's dad was like, hey, no, take him off of child support and clear his rears. That's really when he started like acting like, oh, like, like our co-parenting relationship is up here. And I would say as a mom, and especially as a mom that has multiple baby dads that's involved, it did blind me because it had me being on some shit like, oh shit, look at him complying now, being decent. Not looking at the fact that, oh, he's only complying now being decent because he doesn't owe me $30,000 anymore. I'm
Okay.
not taking.
So on that level, so basically at the time, you're the only mother of his children. He doesn't have any other um like children outside of you, but what you're saying is you had that child with him, and then you moved on and had two more children with someone else. And in
Mm-hmm.
that process, you found the middle ground as far as you and him co-parenting your oldest child.
Mm-hmm.
So the biggest question that I think I have and a lot of people would probably ponder: if you didn't have a good relationship prior to be, when you were pregnant, he didn't treat you fair while you were pregnant with his first child, and then he didn't really treat you fair as the mother of his child for a few years, based on, like you said, it seems like child support was an issue. Whatever his issue was, y'all didn't find a middle ground until that child was 5 years old. But then 5 years later, you decide to give him another chance and marry him. Where were you mentally when you decided to do that?
So, full transparency, he was love bombing the fuck out of me. Like, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Like, I made it
Give me
clear.
an
Like,
example.
I
Give me an example.
so an example is like everybody knows like how like I'm not gonna say everybody, I would say social media. When it came to like my son's dad and it came to like my daughter's dad, like I feel like at one point they was all like running a competition, whereas though, damn, we gonna get our baby mom back. Because in my 3 serious relationships that I have children, I didn't do anything to cross them. It was things that just didn't get met, like in terms of adult wise, as in why we didn't work out. But mentally, I like when I started paying Kyrie more attention. I believe like the boy's dad had went to prison. He had went to prison. Then I found out about like a situation that was hidden from me, and like I was really hurt about it. Like, and it was definitely like another child, like with his older kids, baby mom, because his older kids are like my teenage daughter's age, like 16 and 14. So it was like, to restart that, it was just a lot for me. So I think like mentally it made me block him out in a sense, because it was like I knew nothing about it. And like I couldn't be mad necessarily at his family because it wasn't his family place to tell me, but they did do their due diligence in keeping the entire situation a secret, because it was at that time frame. I think King was like 5, like when he blurted it out and told me, and I just was like, oh shit. So it was like when King told me, like I basically like started ignoring his dad, and like I started like allowing Kyrie to come around me more. Now, of course, like right off the bat, like he was going through a situation to where as though he was leaving his ex girlfriend. Well, he wasn't leaving his ex girlfriend. Let me correct that. She left
Wait,
him.
so hold on. You saying when you decided to give your estranged husband a chance. Well, he's your estranged husband now. At that time, he was your child's father.
Mhm.
Now, what I'm really trying to understand is what did he present to you for you? I understand what you're saying. Like you had a lot going on. You were going through some other trauma, some other heartbreak, and he came around and was being the knight. He was on a white horse. He was being there for you while you were going through this other situation with your other son's dad. So I guess what I'm trying to understand is, in what way did he present himself, or what was your mindset? Like, what made you say, you know what, I'm gonna give this particular person another chance? Like, why?
Okay, so it was just the whole like I fucked up before in the past, like just like regular, just like affirmation that you will look for in like somebody that you had like a long term relationship with. It was just a, oh, I'm going to do right spiel. But I feel like when it came to like the whole I'm going to do right spiel, I kind of like put him to the test, because I was like, okay, we can't be in this relationship, or we can't do this unless we're getting married this go around, unless we're actually going to do things the correct way. So, so
Right. So
whereas,
it was just a requirement. Like, you just was like,
so
I'm not
I,
doing nobody, or was it you felt like he was changed, or
So to me, I was blinded because I didn't like see him on an everyday basis. I seen like the illuminated parts. I seen like all the good shit because, of course, like he wasn't around me on an everyday basis. But like for me, it was just on some. It was really on some shit. Like I was laying out a list of requirements and he was checking them off. Now, was those requirements surface level as far as like want to go get tested, us getting our marriage license, us sitting down actually like planning a future together? he actually played that the entire role out as if like, yeah, this is everything that I want, so I'm gonna like do it the right way. Like in like when I
Right.
mean
You
like
felt like at the time he was earning you, and then
yeah,
later
like I
on
felt
he was earning you.
yeah, like I felt like he was like definitely like just going through the proper steps. And it was like of course like I didn't like anything outside going on, like it never like hit me at that moment or like during those time frames at all. Because if I would have got like, you know, like a smidge of like infidelity prior to, it wouldn't have been so arranged the way and how it was.
Mm-hmm. So, do you feel like what was that time frame? Like, how many months or weeks was it from the moment you decide to give him a chance to the moment you actually get married? Like, how much time in between was that?
Oh my goodness, it really was no time. It was like my son had a birthday party, and like I lied to you not, that was like the happiest I ever seen my son because like everybody was there. So it was like family members from my daughter's side of the family, my daughter's dad's side of the family, my other two sons. It was family members from their side of the family. We all came together for Caden's birthday. So when we came together for Caden's birthday, it was like at the end, like he kept on, like he was like press and play with like the whole like relationship being serious to the point of us getting married. But that Caden's
I mean,
birthday is November.
had he inquired, like, had he inquired prior to that, like, during that, I want to say, what, 6 to 8 year gap, okay, even though he had a girlfriend for that
Mhm.
amount of time, was he still, like, low key or high key pursuing you?
He was definitely low key pursuing me, and it was crazy because I got into it a lot with her, and I would tell her like, "Girl, like you know, he makes his pass and like he send his money and he do what he's supposed to do, but I'm not into revenge fucking on nobody." So
Right.
like throughout the time frame of us not being together, like I lied to you not, like he would bring flowers to my house. Any vacation I would go on, he would definitely give me between like $500 to 1,000, and some people might not think
Right.
it's a
He
lot,
was
but it's
so,
like,
like, trying to
yeah, like
say,
it
say something. Oh,
that's
that's my baby dad. I ain't worried about
right. That's how I
it.
was looking at it. Then it was like, of course, like when I went and got my body done over, it was like he was like extra coming. So that $500 for a vacation turned into $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 each and every time I went on vacations. And it was just like, all right, whatever. Like I was friend zoning the fuck out of him, but it's still like in my head, I'm like, shit. I got three different baby dads, and each and every time I go on vacation, they coughing up money. I say, look at him stepping up to the plate. I didn't think of it that way, but like from the time frame when when we started talking about it, Caden's birthday is 9/18. He went and got tested December 5th. We got our marriage license December 11th. We got married January 26th,
Right.
27th.
It really
So
was kind of a whirlwind. Like, things kind of happened quickly, and I feel like just to be clear, like, your mindset was, you know what? I'm not about to keep dating, and I'm definitely not about to date my baby dad. Like, if you want to be together, you have to step up in this way.
yeah, basically
Okay.
there was
So
no steps
then,
prior to.
so you get y'all start speaking. You feel like, all right, we had this amazing family moment. You know, it's been all these years. He had a full circle moment. I had a full circle moment. Maybe, just maybe, this could work out if he does all the things that I require from him, which is marriage, which is helping me with a family unit. All right, maybe, just maybe, we could work this out and move forward. So you said you got basically married at the end of January. From the moment, the day you got married, how many days until you realized, okay, this is not the thing for me?
Legit, it was 11 days. And it was 11 days because I got pregnant pretty fast. Like, because it was one of those things to where as though the person that I was dealing with prior to was like a long-term situation. I kind of ghosted him. So it was like once, like, I got tested and no bullshit, full
So it was
transparency.
11 days.
Ha.
You said 11 days.
It was 11 days after we got married. But the crazy part is, like, I went to work. I was sick as hell because, of course, I was pregnant. So when I was at work,
Within that time, you were already pregnant.
so like when I told you, I told him to go get tested December 5th. I believe you came back from London like the 10th or like the 11th or something like that. That was when we finally had sex, like after we started talking or whatever. So it was the night that you came back from London. Is like when we had sex. But at that point, like I was already like shit, like 3 weeks, a month out of like not doing nothing. Nor was I on like birth control or whatever. Like I got pregnant pretty fast.
Right. Okay. So, got it. So then, at this point, by the time you get married, you're basically already pregnant, but you were
Yeah,
already married. So it was like basically you as a fiance decided not to wait till specifically after the wedding because you already had plans to get married. So you said, hey, whatever,
yeah,
we're getting married, whatever. By the time the plans come into fruition, you're just happen to already be pregnant
yeah,
because your wedding was a month out.
yeah.
Which got pregnant within that month. Okay, great. Now you're pregnant. Now y'all are married. 11 days later, there's a situation where you discover things you discover, which I think is a whole nother like story time in itself, which I think we can kind of table it. And then at this point, you find out you're like, I can't be married to this person, but I have to figure out how to co parent with this person. And from the time that, like you said, 11 days later, he did what he did. Was it him stepping out of the marriage that was the finale for you, or was it when he contracted incurable STDs?
So it was both because like the day that we had got into like the big argument and fight, like it legit just started off from him calling me and I work overnight. I'm inside of an IV room. At first he's like, "Oh, can I go hang out outside?" And I'm like, "Yo, we talked about this. Like our marriage was so arranged. We talked about like bad habits that we had prior to the marriage, going into the marriage, and shit that we just was not going to do without one another. Or like if it comes about, like we could question it. Like it could be a big thing. So I'm like, if I'm at work, you're supposed to have the kids. Like no, watch football inside of the house. So he created an argument and a fight over old video that was found inside of my iPad. Now, my own due diligence, my own transparency. Prior to getting married, I thought I got rid of it, but it was definitely with an ex. But I'm so mature. I feel like if the timestamp is before you and I talked, had sex, or anything, and that got cleared up, I felt like when his mom had to sit down with us because it was before him. It should not have altered his decision making and stepping out of the marriage. But that particular night, he turned off his location. We got into a crazy heated like bungalow, and that next, I want to say like before anything happened, like my stepmom called him and told him not to fuck up his marriage, and he laughed at her and hung up the phone. So that next day, when his mom called me because she wanted to have a sit down talk about it, I made it clear that Kyrie couldn't touch me until he get a blood test because I know he stepped out of the marriage. Now, of course, he was like swearing up and down, like, "Oh, I never. Why would I cheat on you? We just got married." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not dealing with this. Like, you're not about to fuck my life up. Shit, nigga, you gave me chlamydia the first go right around." So that that was a Tuesday when I talked to his mom. We didn't go to the doctors until that Friday because the new rule is you gotta be 13 weeks now to go to the doctors. Like if you're completely
Right,
healthy.
right.
So when I went to the doctors, I made him go to our family doctor because I knew that would be a way of me having full access
Now, at
to.
this time, did he admit that he cheated, or you just had like you
Not
just knew?
listen. He never admitted to nothing. It was my
Okay, so
women
he never admitted
intuition.
to it, but you knew.
Mm-mm.
You were like, I don't trust you. You turned your location off. You went missing. You picked this fight with me. It was just a woman's intuition and just experience from not only just dating other men, but you already dated him. So you knew,
Yeah.
like, hey, something isn't right. I'm not about to play with my health. I'm not about to play with my life. So I'm gonna put you on pause
And
until you get tested.
was so fucked up even in that situation. He literally was trying to force himself onto me, and I had to tell him like, "Yo, I would get you arrested if you force yourself
Wait,
onto
what
me."
you
And I'm
mean? Push himself like?
So from Tuesday to Friday, he kept on like pressing the issue of having sex, and I was like, bro, like I'm not having
And he
sex
knew
with
you
you.
were
And
pregnant at that
yeah,
time.
like at that, I
So
was
you were
sick as
already pregnant.
hell.
You was pregnant,
Yeah,
married, and then he very much knew you was pregnant.
he
Very
was
much
trying to
let you
manipulate
know,
it. He kept
and
saying,
tried to
"Oh, I
cheat on
can't."
you again.
No, listen, he kept saying, "Oh, I can't even have sex with my pregnant wife." And I was like, "Bro, if you force yourself on to me, and I'm telling you I need to see blood work before we start having sex again." I told him I would have him arrested. So legit, that's what like put the hope on him trying to like force himself to have sex with me. But he legit was trying, like, and I'm trying to tell y'all, like I was like clutching my panties. I'm like, bro, no is no.
Right, because y'all shared the home. It's like y'all shared the bed
Yep.
together.
At
Okay.
that point of time, he definitely did move into to my home at that point in time.
Okay. So then, if I'm getting this right, so you discuss. So after you went to the doctor, you discovered you was pregnant. You told him, "Hey, when I go get my checkup, I want you to get a checkup." Um, and when did you? Did he reveal his status with you, or did you find out another way?
So prior to us going to the doctors on Friday, that appointment was already prearranged because we already knew I was pregnant. But no, I knew my test results came Saturday. I had to actually call the doctor's office to get like his LabCorp pen and his my chart link in order for me to link it to my account because we're married. So he never revealed to me that, like, like he contracted a STD, whether if it was incurable or not incurable. I logged in and I seen it. So when I logged in on Monday and I seen it, I automatically called my GYN because I'm like, fuck, this nigga got herpes. What the hell? So I was like scared as shit. So when I called my GYN and I'm telling her like what's going on, and she was like, "Well, Chanel, when was the last time you slept with him?" I'm like, "The night of our wedding." So she was like, "Chanel, I think like the night of our wedding was January 27th, but that was like February the 18th or something like that." She was like, "Chanel, this may be his initial outbreak." Like, so I begged her. I was like, she was like, because she literally was like, "I just tested you for all like basically HSV, HPV, HIV, syphilis, all that stuff." She said, "I just tested you for all that." And she said, "I did it both vaginal and blood wise." So I begged her to send the slip again for me to go to LabCorp to get retested. When she sent the slip again, my test results hit that count. I want to say it had to been like 11, 12 o'clock that night. It hit the portal. So I just let him go to work the next day like it was nothing. I think at this point, like I was completely fucking pissed and salty. I called my fucking like I think you was working at the time, but I called my girlfriend Fatima, my brother baby mom, and it was my cousin Riri. I called them all over there because I'm salty as shit. Like on top of the fact I'm salty as shit,
Well,
I'm
because at this
pregnant too.
moment you don't even understand like if like you need to be retested. At this moment, you're worried about your health, your unborn child.
No, like at this point, this was the Tuesday. The Tuesday I had already got retested that Monday. So that Tuesday I already knew, like I already had like another confirmed test that I didn't have it. But it was just the starting factor was the fact that damn, this nigga done fucking went outside and fucking caught herpes.
So at that
So
moment, once you knew you saw his results and you saw your results, you had already put two and two together that he definitely stepped out, even though he hadn't admitted to stepping out just yet. You
mhm.
knew just based off of his results, like you had to, because had you not stepped out, I would have had it. Because am I correct? Am I correct in the fact that his initial reaction when you confronted him about this, his initial reaction was he didn't cheat, that he must have had it prior?
He did say that, and was crazy when he said he tried to blame his ex-girlfriend for it. She was already moved on in another relationship, and so literally, I called her because she was pregnant at the same time too. So I called her, we FaceTime, like, even though it was like slight static or whatever, like, but because she thought like initially at first like we was dealing with each other the whole entire time. Like, I'm pretty like level headed. I told her like, hey, Kyrie's running around saying you gave him herpes. I said, and the way how my doctor explained it to me is, if you had herpes and I was exposed to herpes, I would have an index level. Hey, I don't have an index level. My results say non-reactive. So I'm trying to just see yours just to confirm what I already know. So when she FaceTimed and she showed me, he, like, at that point he was trying to argue with her. I'm like, bro, you can't argue with lab results. Like, that's like you trying to argue with me and say I gave it to you and my shit says non-reactive. You can't argue with lab results. So from that point on, like, it was like when he tried to blame her, he could no longer blame her. He basically left. Like, he went ghost for a while, and I lied to you not, in between time he kept on saying like he'll take a lot of detective tests, and I was like, well, what does a lot of detective tests got to do with blood work, especially when I seen his blood work prior to us getting married, and he was not HSV2 positive on there.
Mm-hmm. So, okay. So now you know what's going on. You know what's happening. So you're like, okay, I'm done. I'm checked out of marriage completely. Like, there's no way. So at this point, you're trying to figure out, number one, how to get through your pregnancy. Number two, and also just to throw this in there, not a question, a comment. You were at this point a few months pregnant. You were in the process of move, like you just moved into a new place. You had a whole life set up, and I think it was kind of like devastating to have all these plans, have this life set up, and then the person who's supposed to be your partner and accomplishing these things and building this family is now like completely for you taken away, because it's like you took yourself away from what we said we were doing going forward because you stepped out of the marriage. And also, icing on the cake, caught an incurable disease. Okay, so what I want to know is, was he like at any point was he like apologetic, or do you feel like he just was straight up, narcissist behavior? Like, what was his response to when you confronted him? Like, how did he handle it with you? How did he handle you in that
um
moment?
so automatically, like I said, when I shut the whole thing down with his ex-girlfriend, he just was just trying to lie, and it was like he was just like trying to convince me like, oh, the test was wrong. And like, what makes matters even worse, I went to the doctors with him. So not only did I go to the doctors with him when he first, like, like before he, like when before we learned of his diagnosis, I went to the follow-up appointment with him as well. And it was like he had like a preliminary positive, even of like it was like at that time frame, that it wasn't that first appointment, it was the next one. He had like a preliminary positive of like a HIV result. But like even during that time frame, I'm consistently getting tested throughout my pregnancy because of how fucking serious it is. But he never not one time owned it. I lied to you not, we stopped speaking from like the moment that was February, we stopped speaking to probably like April, he
Mhm.
popped up at my house with his best friend. And he was still, at this point, he was trying to convince me to go with him to get a lie detector test. And I said, hey, since we're lying, I said, my girlfriend's sitting right here. You're in my house. You just broke in. My loaded weapon is right here. If you don't get out of my face lying, like, she's going to lie for me to get me out of this pickle. Because at that point, it's like, stop coming in here with foolishness to lie and tell somebody you didn't go outside and catch an incurable STD. And not only did I go to the doctors with him, like I can still log in right now and see his lab court results from before we got married, before we had sex, to when all this stuff transpired. I want to say, like, after like that initial of him coming to my house with his friend in April, he eventually ended up blowing my phone up later on that night. Now, later on this night, I'm at my new place. I'm there with my cousin Riri, and my other and my like one of my other cousins. So we just sitting there like I'm not gonna hold y'all. I'm smoking hookah. We just talking. He calls and he was like, "Hey, if I allow you to talk to this girl, can that I slept with and I had an affair with, can we try to come to a middle ground?" So I said, I mean, we could try to come to a level of understanding, but I don't think there's no middle ground here because I don't want an STD that I didn't catch outside myself, like, tricking on a nigga or something. So, can I make this shit up to you? Riri sitting on one side, my other cousin sitting on the other side. I'm not gonna say her name because she's not on social media. She's actually a real Muslim, so I won't bring her name into it. But we're sitting right there, and like when he calls the girl, he told me the girl name is Ashley. He was like, he knows her from school. He was like, but this was the girl that he slept with. So when he called the girl, he had to call her like 7 times because she wouldn't answer the phone. So when she finally answered the phone, she was like, "Kyrie, what do you want? Like, I'm not about to keep on doing this with you all day." Now, mind you, if it's nobody voice I would ever fucking forget, I would never forget this bitch voice. This is why when she resurfaced recently, it was even more fucking personal. The bitch was like, "Oh, I'm not about to sit here on this phone and keep on apologizing to you." She said, "I apologized to you for it once," but she was like, "You're a grown ass man. You had the right to put a condom on. You didn't. So, oh well." I said, "Damn, city girls is the fuck up." I said, "This who you chose over me? This is crazy." So the girl continued to go on. She was like, "Yeah, I don't give a fuck." She was like, "You ain't gonna die for it." She said, "Y'all, all y'all gotta do is just take your meds." I said, "All y'all gotta do is take your meds." I knew better than to be a pick me bitch and to sleep with a nigga that I knew stepped the fuck out. She was like, oh well, somebody gave it to me." So at that point, I hung up the phone on him. So he kept calling back and he kept on like trying to apologize about it at that time frame. But I was like, "Yo, that's fucked up. That's really fucked up. Like, bitch, you just got married. Like, we got a kid on the fucking way. You slept with a bitch that didn't even have enough decency of telling you she had a fucking STD and told you that, oh well, you won't die from it." I lied to you not. At that point, I just was like that was when I cried. Like the whole entire time, like all that shit was going on. I think I bottled it up so much, and I just was on some shit like, thank the Lord, like, I knew better than to sleep with him. But at that point, when I heard that bitch say that shit, I was like, damn, like, that's different. So from that point on, like, it was definitely like no need of speaking to him or anything like that. Like, and I lied to you not, like, what made it even worse after that point of the time of that situation. I kept my distance, but because he was staying with his mother, like, and it was like she'll be like, "Oh, y'all married, you got to get out of my house." Like, he would randomly pop up to my house, kick my door, and everything like this. And at this time frame, only my close friends and my cousin, which my close friends is like three different females, and my favorite cousin, they knew about it, but my dad, nobody else knew about, excuse me, what was going on. So I work at a children's hospital and he's showing up to my house, kicking my door in, and I got teenage daughters. It just
Right,
got
because
to a
also
point.
has like a drinking problem. So I think a lot of these things when we talk about his behavior and things that transpired, I I would like to throw in. I think that there could be an addiction issue. There could be a sex addiction. There could be addiction. I do feel just from the situation from what you tell me based on the erratic behavior, there could be a personality disorder. There could be addiction. There is something there that needs
Mhm.
to be looked at. And that really goes into my next question. Is that one of the reasons why you haven't been able to co-parent with him with this uh, recent situation? Because from what you're telling me is he did these things, he lied about it, which then made him untrustworthy in your eyes. Then he had these actions and behaviors, erratic behaviors, not being able to tell the truth, not taking accountability. I think all of these things turned you away from trusting him with your children. Because for me, if that was me, and I'm just saying, if it was me, and if I can't trust you with certain things, just even just telling the truth or being accountable, how am I supposed to trust you with like my newborn baby?
So it did cause like a lot that was going on at that time frame. And like once he got to the point to where as though like he was being violent towards me, like I'm not a timid
You cut
female,
off
but
once he's kicking in your. I mean, because
yeah,
at this point
once
you're
he was
timid and working.
yeah,
Okay, and
once he
working.
kicked in my door and I had to like call my dad and I had to call my other baby father just like literally for protection. Like at that point it did drive a wedge like from
Right.
him being around my older son Caden. But like even during that time frame, like my dad even tried to have a whole conversation with him because his family started to aggressively attack me on social media.
So wait, before you go, because that's literally my next question. My next question,
Oh.
that was literally the next question in regard to, because I really want to try to create like a timeline and a snapshot of why you're at this, point of we can't even like be cool. We can't be nothing based on the actions. And I
Mhm.
think what get lost in translation is how you got to this point. So
Mhm.
for me, if I'm looking at it from what you're telling me, from you being a working pregnant mom, you're going to work every day, pregnant as fuck, and he
Mind
comes.
you, wait, just say he did not help me financially at all. That's the next portion of it. So
Right,
throw
right.
that
So
into
had
there.
he been doing that, so you had to do what you had to do because you had a baby coming, and he was
Yep.
creating havoc again due to, from what I recall, his drinking. He's creating
Mhm.
havoc. I've already said, hey, marriage over. Let's figure out how to work these kids out. Let's figure out how to work this household out. That did not work. At some point, excuse me, at some point you had to say, you know what, I'm done. You got to get away from me. I'm trying to have a healthy pregnancy. I'm trying to make these moves. You're just bringing negative all the time. And that was just all negative. So
Mhm.
I had to remove myself. The thing that really is curious, the thing that I've I've questioned too is, did you ever consider his upbringing and surroundings?
You know what's you know
Because
what's
it sounds
crazy?
like from what I recall is at one point in time when you were around, let's say 7 6 7 months pregnant, everyone involved said, hey, we need to have a discussion. We need to figure this out because there are children involved, there's a marriage involved, there's so much involved. Usually friends and family members try to step in. And when friends and family members stepped in, as you said, it seemed like things got more hostile. And
They
instead
did
of resolving,
this.
you would expect a mom and a dad, which is a grandmother and a grandfather, to come in and say, hey son, hey mother of our only grandchildren, because that needs to be expressed too. These are the only grandchildren
He has
on
no other kids.
no other
No.
kids. So it's like,
No.
hey, why is it that we can't step in as a family and try to figure this out? And it sounds like to me there was so much immaturity, and I just feel like um, precautionary tale. As you're telling your truth and putting your story out there, I hope that a lot of women get to a place of you have to like literally investigate your partner. You have
Yeah.
to know the parents. How does the mom respond to conflict? How does the father respond to conflicts? And how do people come together or not come together? So it sounds like to me that it got to a point where even once family tried to step, that didn't work. So
You know what's crazy, Nelly? They never tried to step into the situation. I want to say after he kicked my door in,
right,
that's when I told my dad. So
right,
when
because your father got involved, and if people who don't know you don't know that, like once your father or your brothers get involved, that's when people have to really start uh, answering for what's going on, and
yeah,
that his parents got involved because it was like, oh, hold up, and then the parents came together, tried to talk, tried to figure it out, and if I'm correct, during that conversation between you, your dad, him, his parents. The bottom line of that interaction was Kyrie had been not telling his parents the truth at all. That
He,
discussion was basically bringing up things or bringing out things that his parents had no clue about. So instead of it being, hey, let's figure this out, it ended up being like y'all don't even know what's going on. We can't figure it out because he's lying so hard to y'all that y'all don't even know what's going on. And what I mean by that is, from what I recall, he had told his parents all of his income was going to you and helping the kids, and at that time he hadn't been giving you anything.
it was all of his income, and he came into $30,000. So this is what had them in such an uproar towards me, and they were being so ignorant and mean towards me online. Mind you, I never knew nothing about this $30,000. He was definitely not helping me financially at all. Like the house that we had got, his name only went on things because we were newly married when we went to go look at the place, but all the extra nonsense happened and he never moved into the place with me. I ended up like convincing the people to allow me to move in based off of my own income. But no, his mother, and I had vowed years ago to never disrespect her again. This is why I was completely taken back by her going on social media, like disrespecting me, saying I took his money and I'm allowing small situations to break us up, and a marriage is supposed to be for better or for worse. And I'm like, took his money is crazy. Like this nigga don't help me
Right.
with
So
nothing.
originally, it's your point of view that originally his mother started to sub you online.
She was
Well, no,
subbing me.
same thing. Yeah,
She was subbing
she was
me.
subbing you
She was
online.
subbing me.
You just being a big ass Gemini. You was like, hold up,
Unicorn
to
bitch.
do, what you ain't finna
The
do is come for me because your son, you know, you need to check him. Stop checking me.
yeah.
Many people not gonna understand. So that's I think that's something that needs to be a bit. That's again a whole nother story time. Needs to be talked about when we are raising. And I say we because it does take a village. It does take a community. When we are raising young men, I really truly believe we have to stop coddling them and making excuses when they drop the ball. Cheating on
Yeah.
your wife is unacceptable. Um, Kicking in a door where 5 children live is unacceptable. Being drunk to the point where you can't pick kids up when you're supposed to and do things for kids that you signed up to take care of is unacceptable.
Yep.
Uh, Not being able to help the home financially after you married someone and got them pregnant is unacceptable. It's just those are the things that I feel like we have to talk about more. We have to put our men in positions to understand if you say you're going to do something, you need to do it. You need to step up and do what you said you were going to do. It's my opinion that a lot of times men become fathers and husbands and they're not ready. They're not prepared mentally, emotionally, and it comes out in ways of rebellion. So
Hmm.
instead of talking to his wife and saying, "Hey, I'm overwhelmed. This is a lot. Um, I wasn't sure about what I was doing at the time, or I had these feelings." Instead of doing that, you got to feed your ego and go sleep with women that have low standards. Because that female, to my recollection, she knew he was married.
Yep.
She knew he had a pregnant wife, and
Yep.
still chose to not only sleep with him, but sleep with him unprotected.
Yep.
So there's a lot to be said about what men go through mentally and emotionally, how they decide to deal with it, and how it affects everyone that's attached to them. So, and again, goes directly into my next question. Um, what I want to know about that is, which I feel like hasn't been talked about when you've been online and we've had these discussions. When you were going through all of this, pregnant on top of everything. You're going through all this pregnant. How be and if be as open as you're willing to be with this. How did that really affect you emotionally and mentally?
So emotionally, like I think I kept shit bottled up so much. Like when specific situations like transpired, I exploded. Like when when he was lying, telling his family I took his money and I never seen a cent of that money. And like from the beginning, like even like with budget plans to help his credit and everything like that, I was helping him. Like shit, I helped get his fucking teeth fixed because he got badass breath. Like so, it was like certain situations. No, I'm dead ass serious because I was building a nigga at that point because it was like, all right, he had minor fuck ups, but prior to the stepping out, but it wasn't to the point to where as though I would cast him away because we already like had that. Like it was like we went through so much turmoil, but then we was like just doing so good. Like him making that rash decision, it like literally fucked things up. But it was like emotionally, I think like when the whole $30,000 thing came about, to me it was just too much.
It was a lot. It was too much.
It was
It was a
way
lot.
too it
But
was way too
I think what I like my core of my question is really to say, how did you how did you handle it? Because again,
but I didn't handle it though. That's the thing.
at the time, from my point of view, I think a lot of it came out during your pregnancy. And from what I remember, weren't you a high risk pregnancy? Like, I think you were put on bed rest or you couldn't work after what? I think your
It
first
was
time in the hospital, you were only like 5 or 4 months pregnant.
yes,
Um,
I did get put on bed rest like 7 months.
yeah,
So
due to, I think, my personal opinion, a lot of emotional, like you said, a lot of emotional and mental stress. It really did affect your pregnancy with your child.
yeah. I mean, like physical, and then you know what's crazy? Like up until you asked a question like that, I didn't pay that portion of it no mind. Like I knew like certain time frames to where as though they were like extremely large triggers for me, and I would like completely flake the fuck out. Like
While
in
you were
terms of yeah,
right,
like while I was pregnant, but um.
I used to say, girl, if
This
you don't calm down, that baby gonna run up out of there.
no, like I
If you
lied
don't
to
talk
you
about
the
an
fact.
attitude problem.
Yo, I lied to you the fact now. I never thought about it that way, but I
But
was
yeah, because anything
hospitalized a
you
lot.
feel, from what I've been told, anything you feel your child feels. And I recall you having a really tough time because again, you had to be faced with financially, I'm alone. Physically, I'm alone. I'm supposed to be married. I'm supposed to have a family. And I was robbed of that. And the reason I needed to ask you that question is because I don't think I've heard you say, and I've heard other people say, why does she have to tell the whole world this? And why can't you just move on and let it go? Or you look pressed and you look bothered. And I said this to you the other day. Any woman in this position would be pressed, would be bothered, would be triggered. Now, a year later, your baby is only 1 year old. It's only been a year. And in that year, you've come out in this public relationship and someone is saying, oh, he's so amazing and such a good man, and we've been together for 8 6 months, however many months, or they've been together for a year, however long it's been. It's like, I think it's unfair for people to feel like you should just shut up or you should just move on or you're not allowed to be triggered. Because if it was me and I married someone and we verbally talked about our life and then we enter into a contract with the government and with God to be together and build a life together, and then you take no accountability, no ownership. I have a In my opinion, just from knowing what you tell me, one of the most difficult pregnancies that you could have had, and also how that can affect your health going forward, is like you cannot expect anyone to not have a visceral reaction to someone promoting someone to be so great and so wonderful, and then you have this experience that I feel like hasn't really been detailed and communicated. So that's why I said, like, how has it affected you emotionally? Because yeah, it might come off as like an anger, a dig, or a rant, but the truth of the matter is these are real events and these are real feelings and this is a real situation and it's your real
Yeah.
life. So I
So
think that doesn't get communicated like, yes, this situation was fucked up and I handled it with grace. And not for nothing, a lot of people too don't understand while this was going on, you were high risk pregnant. So every time you got upset, every time something came out, you were back in the hospital.
child.
So you had to
I'm
wait.
trying to tell you, this shit
You
is
had to
bad
wait
at
until the
times.
child was even born, right? Because
Okay.
it's here safely. You had to
Hmm.
wait and sit on these emotions and sit on this
Yeah.
anger because it was affecting your child. Once
Child
the child was born, it was like, okay, now I'm
is
ready to
up.
talking about this so I can start to heal from it. This
Yeah.
I wanted to get across that this is the healing process. This is it. And
Yeah.
it's hard to
Yeah.
heal when someone is calling you a liar, when you know your
Okay.
truth, when someone is
Okay.
promoting an individual that did you wrong in so many ways and saying this person is great. And I'm not saying that people are perfect. I'm just saying I think it's fair for you to at least have the opportunity to say, yes, that situation did hurt me. Yes, I felt triggered. And yes, this is the way I handled it because this person lied to me. This person deceived me and then turned around, told his family lies about you, turns around and tell this girl who either she was around before or she just became around. I don't care if he started dating her 2 days ago. Regardless of the fact of the matter is, whatever lies you're telling this person, because if you were telling the truth, there would be no drama, there would be no beef.
Mhm. Yo.
And that
Oh
drama
my God.
of the lies.
I don't even mean to cry, yo. My bad. But
No,
no,
because it's
it's
a real thing. It's a real thing, and this is why I said to you, "Hey, I wanna try to narrate a situation that is tough. It's a tough
mhm.
situation, and it's natural to have a reaction like that. And that's the thing. People just see they see the reaction, but they don't see what caused it.
Yeah.
And that was me as a friend going, you need to express what caused this reaction. Because people are like, oh, you're online, you're telling everything, you could keep it private, keep it private. Why would I keep it private? This
Yeah.
man and this girl is out here spreading STDs.
Yeah,
Why
for
should I
sure.
keep that private?
Right.
Why should I not tell my truth? I had to hold my truth in. I had to do what I had to do as a mom. And now I'm ready to say what it is because I don't have to lie. I don't have to hold it in if I don't want to. So I think
Yeah.
it's fair to have that emotion. I think it's fair to say, look, if you got into a relationship with a woman who really truly cared about you as a man, she would not cause havoc in the co-parenting. A real woman would go, you know what? Let me step to the side. Let me shut up. Let me not say nothing. Because the ultimate goal should be to reunite this man with his children. The ultimate goal should be to make sure that this man becomes the father he needs to be for his children, not a good boyfriend. We don't give a fuck if he's a good boyfriend. We want him to be a good father.
Hmm.
And anybody that cares about him would say, we need to figure out a way to make sure you can be the father you need to be for your children. But I just wanted to say, like, I understand where that anger comes from. And I'll be honest, if it was me, I wouldn't be any better. I wouldn't be any less angry. And all those people that say, "Oh, you sound bitter." Yes, I am bitter. The fuck? Do you see? Like this is what happened, and even yet, and still, it's only been a year. This is not 5 years ago. This is last year. Even down to, and again, not to tell your business or put things out there. But even down to just a few months ago, when me and you had a conversation, I said, look, I know you don't trust him around the kids because he's not on his medicine. He refuses to take his medicine. He refuses to truly acknowledge that he even has herpes. He's never really acknowledged it, accepted it, whatever. How are you
Herpes
supposed
nor fucking HIV because he was
Yeah, so
placed
how are
on
you supposed
HIV
to
meds too.
at that time, you were supposed to hand your months old child over to him to keep overnight so that he can have a relationship. Tried that, that went left. Then you try even letting him come over your home to even down to allowing him to stay there just to be around the baby and be around his child. He ended up fumbling that. So I just wanted to be clear that there were times in this last year that you did try. Even when Carter was born, you unblocked them, reached out to them and said, hey, your son was born. If you want to see him, I'm at the house. Like, I don't really want to be around you. I hate the way you treated me, but I have to at least try as a mother. And I just think it's really sad, and I hurt for everybody involved because it's my opinion that people aren't holding him accountable.
They
Period.
not, yo.
Not holding him accountable. And then for him to be dating someone who's also not holding him accountable is like when because even going back, I'm not going to say her name, but even going back to his ex girlfriend, how is it that when you were in a long term relationship with that ex, you were in your son's life? That girl, whatever issue she had with you, she kept it in a way that y'all were eventually able to be on speaking terms. Y'all were eventually able to co-parent him, his girlfriend, you, your new baby dad, were co-parenting in a positive way.
Hmm.
How is it now, you're with this other person and you're not even attempting to co-parent?
Because that other person is the person that gave him the incurable STD. So in my eyes, I just feel like she's just, oh, like you're a bad mom, you're a bad mom, you get child support. Well, duh, I'm supposed to get child support. And how can
And
you
again,
call
I'm glad you brought that up again. What you just and again, I'm so glad because people don't realize how hard it was financially when he stepped off and you weren't getting child support. You
that
just started
part?
getting child support for those two children. But guess what? A year before that, when you were pregnant for 9, 10 months, he did absolutely positively nothing. Matter of fact,
Nothing.
he bought a diaper bag. That was it.
$1,500 Burberry diaper bag of
A
out of that
diaper bag.
$30,000 that he told
That
his
was it.
family that I fucking took from him,
So
and
if
it.
you think I'm gonna let somebody walk away and not help with these kids, you are out of your
Oh,
mind.
but wait a minute, and this is another thing. The girl brings up the stripper Ashley. She brings up, oh, Carter's not even his child. I said, well, it's a DNA test paid for. He could have very much went and took it. My thing is, a stripper that cannot have kids that gave you HIV and herpes should not be able to speak on the motherfucking paternity of my kid. And this is where
So
the lines of respect and disrespect kicks into play. And it's like, bro, you're at the point of no fucking return because this exceeds what you should even be
right.
involved in.
And people don't also understand that from what I'm hearing is this is triggering old trauma because from your first child, when you just said he had females disrespecting you, now we're doing it again with the next child. So people have to understand those kind of things are triggered trauma. It's trauma. So don't get upset with me when I'm on the internet blasting folk and I'm truth telling because yes, I'm triggered by something someone has done to me and to my kids. It's one thing to do something to one person, but once you start sliding or neglecting someone's children, you can't say how they should react. You
And then
cannot.
she came through my page on a fake page yesterday. Like, and it's like this is one thing that I realize these dizzy bitches like to do. They like to try to give you a compliment, but then throw an insult. And it's like, bitch, You remotely cannot insult me with nothing that I do. Nothing that I do in terms of my kids, in terms of how I live, or none of that. You know why? Because you're sitting here talking about his finances. Like, oh, you get all this child support, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, girl, you're looking for a way of not being a stripper. Whereas, though, keep stripping, keep sucking dick in the red drum because now I need to go get an increase because you don't know how to leave me alone. Mind you, YouTube, I did not go bothering this stripper with HIV and herpes. She came bothering me.
Let's talk about. See, I think, and that's another thing that I was saying, like that gets lost in translation is once you start um, stating what other people say or stating what another. I don't get into that. But let's for shits and giggles, let's get into it. So, according to the timeline that she provided, because Kyrie is completely silent, he
Of
hasn't said
course.
anything, which I think is crazy. That you caught a stray bullet through the man you're seeing, and he hasn't said anything, even down to coming to your defense, and which he can't because he already kind of exposed things. But whatever. But let's go with her timeline. Let's just say, for shits and giggles, what she is saying. Let's start with what she said. Number one, they've been dating. They only met a year ago. Okay, we kind of feel like that's not true. It doesn't add up. However, let's go with it. You met this man a year ago. So when you met this man a year ago and you said y'all just were friends, I'm pretty sure in your friendship he disclosed that either he had a baby on the way or he had a newborn. I'm pretty sure he disclosed that he was married. I'm pretty sure that he disclosed that his estranged wife, his current wife, who he's still to this day legally married to, I'm pretty sure he expressed that he has two children with her. Now, me as a single woman with no children, and I'm out here dating, I call myself a professional stepmom.
Period.
If I'm talking to a man and the first thing out his mouth is he doesn't have even a cordial speaking relationship with the woman he married and fathered two children by, that would be a huge red flag to me. I would not want to enter into anything with someone that's not at the very least in a good co-parenting thing, because that tells me you don't know how to handle conflict. That tells me you don't know how to lead a family. That tells me you can't lead a household. So let's go with it. You met this man, he told you his past. You whatever he told you, you just believed. Even though it didn't make a lick of fucking sense. Because why would a man leave a wife and two kids and not have any contact? I don't care if you tell me that girl cheated on you. I don't care if you tell me that girl hit you with a car. You can tell me whatever you want. Why would you not be in your kid's life? Something is up there.
Clock
So
it.
that was number one. Number two, he had to disclose, if you did not know already, that he had STD, the incurable. He had to disclose it, or you some way somehow you found out, right? So you mean to tell me you signed up for a man who is heavily on child support, not in his kid's life, currently still married to someone else? Um, you know he ain't got no credit. Credit is shot. He barely got anything. You mean to tell me you decided I'm just gonna be with this guy and be so in love?
Clock it.
I just
It was
in a
it was the
world,
passenger princess for me. I sit in his mother's car. He ain't got no car.
but in a world, but in again in that situation, right? If you decided to take on all of this baggage, take on all of these things, also you have to understand, even though we feel like we're on this side, we feel like Kyrie did wrong, we feel like he's wrong. His actions, I'm pretty sure he can't sleep good at night. I'm pretty sure this still haunts him sometimes. So he also has mental and emotional issues that you are signing up for. Okay, cool. You decided to sign up for it. How do you then turn around and got any type of smoke or any type of issue with the wife and the mother? If you really, really loved him, you would shut up.
I
You
was
would
I
sit
say it
that
all the
man's
time.
privacy. You would get that man some therapy, and you would tell him, you know what? Let me see if I could talk to her
Wait a
and see if we
minute,
could come to
pause.
a middle ground.
Wait a minute, pause. Because that's not what God said. And I fucks with the fact that you said if she loved him, she would get him some therapy and she would try to get him to speak into his kids. Let me pull up exactly what she said. Just so the world can see the type of bullshit that I still gotta go through to this day in terms of disrespect and every fucking thing from this fucking girl. Hold on. No, because this shit is crazy. Hold on. I I need for you guys to fucking see this shit because it's fucking bad. It's fucking bad, and it's like each and every time, like it's so bad because the fact that you just said that, like as a man, he should wanna like this is what he should be doing. Like if a woman loves him, she should be trying to like figure it out. Then what can we do to make things better so that things is not like this? But instead, no, that's not what's going on. I hate how these new um hold on. How these
I
new
mean, like I said, I've been in those situations. I've dated men with children, and the first thing I always ask, so how's the co-parenting relationship? Like, how do y'all manage that? I always ask, do you consider your baby mom like your baby mom, or you consider her family? I always ask those questions to see like what am I
oh
bringing myself into? Like, I don't want to be in a love triangle. I can be
yep.
with a I could be with a ex husband or a baby dad, but I do not want to be in a love triangle because you want to know why? There are feelings still there. There are feelings
Phyllis,
still there, and if you think this man
I
shouldn't
think
be
I
staying
think
here and
it
don't
can
got no feelings for a woman he married and the only mother of his children, girl, you high and you on drugs, okay? Because
I think it
the last time he came around, y'all were, according to your timeline, y'all were quote unquote friends when he was still coming around and trying to get back with you.
yeah,
So
like and that was
bringing you
that
flowers,
was
bring you flowers, and
bro.
oh, okay,
He
okay,
was bringing flowers. I think your camera went out. No, he was bringing flowers. He wanted me to go back to the doctors with him
hold on,
because he was like, the doctor said there's a way for us to safely be together, and I was like, no, just focus on your kids, just focus on your kids. But I'm about to pull this message up because uh, it just needs to be shown because, like you said, as another woman, when you're stepping into situations, you should be stepping into situations what trying to make it to where as though the person can see their kids and be around their kids, so on and so forth. So I'm quite sure y'all could see the message. Let me zoom it in. Just to piggyback off of what Nell was saying, like in terms of like how she deal with men, like when they have kids, she said, "You know the truth." Hold on, let me pull it back up. Dang. You know the truth. You know I just met him in 2023 of September. So why continue to lie? I don't have to post this nor this video of the disgusting like this disgusting sexual video that you have out here. Mind you, the video that this stripper is referring to is a video that Kyrie took out of my fucking iPad between me and my fucking ex. But I'm gonna continue to read. I don't have to argue on social media nor tearing each other down. I'm not the reason he left 11 days after marriage. Hold on. Let me hide this one. Let me get the other one.
it's the left 11 days after marriage. Like, clearly, you are extremely uninformed. So again,
Bruh.
so in your mind of minds, right? You want to be with a guy that, and you're what you're saying is true. He left his pregnant wife after 11 days.
Child, yeah. I'm just doing this to piggyback onto what you said of how you deal with men out here. But this is what she's saying. I don't have to argue nor tear you down on social media. I'm not the reason he left 11 days after a marriage nor contract or herpes. But I am the reason he's happy, growing, learning, and becoming a better man and finding peace. So when you're ready to be an adult and meet up, we can gratefully do so. Now I did all this because you legit just said like basically like when you're dating a man with kids, bro, this bitch did all of the opposite. She did put out a personal video, mind you. In this situation, I did call Kyrie gay because it's like, why are you holding on to a video, a personal video you found of me and my ex that was never a fucking secret? And for like out of any fucking thing, I had two other baby fathers. Why would you remotely show anyone that? Like, why would you remotely show anyone that? But then you got the contradiction of, oh, why would you put out there that he has herpes and HIV? Why is he intentionally doing the things that he's fucking doing? Hold on, guys. I think the stream got messed up. Hold up. Hold on. The stream got messed up. 2 seconds. No, you can use the same link. I'm fixing it, guys. I'm sorry. It kicked Nelly off. 2 seconds. Yeah, just keep saying join it. Hold on. Allow. Okay, here. I did. All right, sorry about that. Nelly got kicked out.
All right.
Nelly got kicked out, y'all. Sorry about
When I
that.
turned it sideways.
Yeah, like sometimes, like this
I was
stream.
like, dang, just do it.
Listen, this is why I got so many of them. I can't make this up to you. Like I literally, like I'll use StreamYard, I'll use Riverside, like I'll use a bunch of different ones because certain ones work like better through mobile, certain ones don't. So it's hit or miss. But like getting into like the whole streaming, podcasting world, like you'll really have your hands on all of them.
Like,
Just so.
oh, they just because I couldn't
Look,
even see the video. I didn't know my video was still working because it don't show on my screen.
no, your video went out. You probably gotta like click the video link again. Like
you know why?
yeah, you
When it
probably
asks you for
you gotta click allow.
right, I'm slow.
No, I'm fucking dying
I'm
because
slow.
this
All
joint
right,
be
continue.
acting up sometimes.
All right,
That's why it
continue.
was like at
Continue.
first it had kicked you out, like it kicked the video off. So I was like, oh man, it kicked her video off. But no, you probably gotta like go into your settings, click allow, and then it'll probably work better that way.
Yeah, maybe all right.
No, I mean
Um,
you still up on the screen. It still lights up when you
yo, this
there.
whole time I was sitting here like I did not know I was still on the screen. Well,
No,
fuck my cup says, you know,
I'm
the
dying. I think you could just like put up a picture on there because it's still maybe you gotta stop the video and start the video. Like sometimes it does it like that. Like even if you just put a picture up there, like I think that should still be cool if you don't have it on there. But I don't like listen
yeah.
like this. This be the best
I ain't gonna
one
work.
sometimes. This be the best one sometimes. That's why I be liking to use Talk Studios versus anybody else, especially like during interviews and stuff. Because a lot of times, even if I have like connection issues, it won't mess it up. Like it still like hits it on like on a backup server. So I remember one time I used Riverside, and it's like I completely lost service, and I was like, damn, it kind of like messed up the whole darn stream. So it's cool. You still up on the screen. But I only showed those screenshots because it's like you definitely just said like when you have conversation with men, if they like, if it's like conversations like that, like if they can't show like the why or anything else, you're kind of standoffish.
They gotta make it seem like everything is your fault. So what I gather is he done told this girl basically I left because I don't know if that's my baby. When
That,
how you paying child support for a baby? Or why you ain't go take the DNA test that's paid for? Like again, y'all
bro.
and my the thing that I really, really want people to know and hear is please women and men, please, when y'all are getting to know people and y'all decide y'all want to be with people, y'all dating people, y'all sleeping with people, please take a minute, take a step back, get to know these people, look at their relationships that they have with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And because that's why I asked you that, like to me, that was the most important question I asked is like, well, if you saw how he operated in the relationship after you saw how he operated in a relationship with you, then you chose to give him another chance. It's like, we need to talk about why we do that. We need to talk about while we go back to situations that have already shown us have already shown us who they are and what they are, but in our hearts, we see potential and we believe in people. But it's like you really have to take the time out to really truly investigate and understand people before you enter into these relationships and having unprotected sex and live it like that's a lot
Mm-hmm.
to ignore or not ignore but just not understand at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think there's a precautionary tale to share with younger women. If you're dating a man who is or was married, and because here's the thing, what woman you know gets married to get divorced?
Yeah.
What man you know
It
gets married to get divorced?
and it definitely I think I was more so like hurt and just angry behind it because when you got somebody like directly, this girl does not indirectly do shit. She does indirectly does it because she don't put my name on it, but it's like, bro, the whole entire internet knows Kyrie is my fucking husband and we're going through all of this shit. So it's like to be online throwing jabs at me, it's like, girl, shut the fuck up for one. For two, like if a nigga was so fucking great, he would have never fucked on you and contracted motherfucking herpes and HIV. That's for two. For three, even if you wanted to be a decent human after you fucking was a home wrecker and after he was a stupid nigga and allowed her to be a home wrecker, why come at the only woman that he has kids with and you would never be able to give him kids because you can't have kids? But then when I go online and I say that, it's oh, HIPAA. That's why I posted earlier. HIPAA does not exist when you're married, and this is why you should know who you fucking with. Because she wants to portray a story online, like, and it's crazy because I get so many DMs on a daily basis. No one will ever support a stripper that fucked on a married man and was a homewrecker. Oh, Big Bird is lying on me. How the fuck am I lying? I very much posted Kyrie test results. I very much posted mine. I very much posted his goddamn credit score and credit report because I hate that she's selling a narrative online like, oh, you're just this bitter female that's just on child support and he's doing all this for me. He's not doing anything for you on a monthly basis. He's like a bi-weekly basis. He probably bringing home between $1,500 to $1,800. I get $800 to $900 out of that each and every time. The nigga is in rears about a solid is $7,000 that's reported to collection and is $8,000 that's not. So it's like the moment that he goes to fucking get another job, he goes to file taxes, it's all coming to me. And I say that shit because it's like, had she hadn't been online poking me, it's like, bro, y'all could have had herpes and HIV in private, and he could have just never came to fuck around my kids.
But
No, for
even
real.
so, even down to, because like I said, I'm the type of person where I will still run with people's narratives that they try to throw out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even down to, first, let's talk about it. We don't have no problem with strippers.
No,
I
bitch, you
got
know my
no
bro.
problem with no stripper. I
Bro,
love
we done
okay.
fucked up like 10
We,
bitches in the
we
strip
don't
club
fuck
on my
up
birthday. Like, come
facts.
on. Like,
We don't
niggas
went to
love
other
strippers.
cities. We
Yeah.
don't went to cities and ran it up. We
Yeah.
don't have
Like,
no problem with no strippers.
we don't have no problem with those strippers.
I
It's
ain't
just
got no
that bitch is
problem.
diabolical.
It's not the because you know me, I don't like to prejudge people. I don't like to promote negative narratives. That's
Mm-hmm.
not how I live. I don't live in a negative space.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, so I said that to say I don't have a problem with strippers. I will
Not at
never
all.
belittle or put anyone down for what they do to put food on the table.
Right.
I ain't got no problem with no sex workers. I ain't got no problem with no McDonald's workers. I ain't got
At
how you
all.
make your money is
Child,
your
child,
business.
she said all I do is work and get child support. I said says an occupational
But even
hazard.
if that's true, right? Even if all you do is sit home and collect a check, however you get that check, baby girl, that's your business.
That
That's
part.
your business, but yours. I
That
don't
part.
have a single problem with a mother that's collecting a child support check. And I don't. That ain't got nothing to do with me. How you make your money is how you make your money. Because how I make my money is my business.
Right.
So it's not the stripper thing that's the issue. I want to make that clear.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that you're his girlfriend. Don't care about that either.
Nah, I'm too grown
It's
for that.
not. Yeah, it's not that. Oh, you're supposed to you say you're happy and you're in love. That's not it. The
Mm-mm.
issue for me is two major things. The first issue for me is number one, when you open your mouth and say, I don't care if he got credit. I don't care what he got. This is what I got. And it's like you're part of the problem as far as this man manning up.
Clock
He needs
it.
to man up. He needs to man up. He needs to be able to come to the table with his wife and come to an agreement as far as his children. Period. There is nothing that's it. That's my main issue. Number one. My second issue is when you are choosing delusion over reality.
Child.
You are choosing to say, I don't care, I want to be with them, and that's cool. But at the same time, you cannot belittle and disregard someone else's experience. I got ex-boyfriends. If a girl told me, oh, he's great, he's this, he's that, if I felt like, oh, he might be that with you, but this was my experience. You
That part.
cannot take away what my experience with him was. I'll give you that. Maybe he is the best man to your standard. That's
Standard.
your standard. He a good man through your standard of what a good man is. To my standard, to what he presented himself to me, what I signed up for, that's not a good person. That's not a good individual. That's not a good husband. That's not a good father. That's not a good friend or anything. So I'm not against what he got going on now. I'm not against it because it's not my I really don't give a fuck. But the only thing that I feel like I have to take a strong like opposition on is if you really, 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 really love somebody, you make sure that they do what they have to do to step up and be the best version of themselves. And I don't care what you say. Somebody that's not actively in their children's life, that can't be the best version of yourself. It can't be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how that's possible.
And that's my biggest issue too, because you like to be online and saying, "Oh, he's just going through a rough time." You're the rough time. You're creating the issue.
Not you're the rough time.
You're the rough time. You're creating the issue.
You're the
I
rough time.
like on some real shit. Like I just don't. I
And
have a minimum tolerance for dumb
I'm
shit.
not into bashing women because, like I said,
She's
let's
the
just
rough
say
time. Like
hypothetically, like I said, I'm not into it. Hypothetically, let's just say what you're saying is the truth. You've only been with this man for a year. Let's say that's the truth. Then at least be quiet, step back, learn this man,
that
learn
part.
the situation. And then if you love him the way you say you love him, you're going to promote anything that makes him a better person.
Exactly.
Anything. And again,
Exactly.
if she felt like, and I can play that, I'm gonna play devil's advocate. If her position is, I feel attacked, I'm defending myself. That ain't how you do it.
Child, I ain't go
That's
for her.
not how
This
you do
is
it.
crazy.
That is not
That
how. If
that
that's
should be like
again, if it was, I've been in situations where baby moms initially meet me and have a problem. Like, where this come from and who is you? And I always come respectfully and humbly. Listen, I got no, whatever y'all situation was, I'm not trying to speak on it. I'm not trying to talk about it. However, I would like to be I would like to be a resource. If you would
child. No,
allow me to be a
she told
resource in your
she told me
child's life,
she would expose my sex videos. So when I tell you,
I just don't
like
see how that's
I'm
and
gonna make
I'm gonna
it
keep
very
it
clear that when we go back to court, like yeah, he was gonna have to come to San Antonio to see his kids because I don't want my kids around a sensical fucking stripper like that. Like
I was just
never.
about to say that. How were you ever supposed to trust him with your kids in that situation? And if I'm being
I
real with you,
won't.
if
I
I'm being real
won't.
with you, what it looks like, and I these are my this is my opinion. Is I'm not saying it's a fact. If I'm being real with you, to me, it looks like because she don't have no kids and no possibility of having none, it looks
Clock it.
like he's decided this is a more cushier, this is an easier
An
situation
easier
to be in.
situation, right?
Cause
Yeah.
ain't no real
Most
responsibility. She
most
already said he
definitely.
ain't got to have much.
Yep.
So it's no responsibility there. So it's
Yep.
like, hey, if you like it, I love it. Girl, good
Exactly.
for you. But my
Yep.
whole thing is I'm not into tearing women down or saying negative things, especially about women that I don't know. I don't know the individual. I know things of Kyrie. So I can say what I know because I was there. I witnessed some of the things that transpired. So I feel like I could speak to that. I don't know her. You know what I'm saying? I was
Mm-hmm.
around when the call from Ashley, who was supposed to live in the projects or something like that, where he
Child.
contracted the herpes. Listen, if he
Child.
like dating girls named Ashley, cool. Let's go
But
with it.
that
Let's
part.
go with it. You
Let's
running
run
with
with
the
it.
herpes, and this ain't the one who gave. But again, when you signed up to be with that man, yes, we heard you caught a stray. You did. You caught a stray bullet, and I just wanted to get that out there, like the reason you court this stray is because the man that you're promoting to be something that other people feel like is not true.
That's why everybody, and it's crazy.
So
That's why at this point, Nelly, I lied to you not. Now I'm screen graphing people out of it just because I don't want, like, her nor her, like, stripper friends going after them. But this, nah, real shit, because these strippers be so retarded, it's insane. But so many
Again,
people
not
is
all
coming.
strippers.
Not all strippers. Not all strippers. Let me
It's
clear that up.
all groups.
Not all strippers, because we do
Not
love the
all
strippers.
love strippers.
But Ashley Edom,
Every
Ashley Adam,
time.
that works at the motherfucking Piccadilly. This girl is so fucking stupid. And I lied to you not. Somebody just called 2 days ago telling me how Kyrie was trying to fuck one another city worker's girlfriend.
But this is
So
I feel like I said, she quit it straight, and honestly, her,
yeah.
she's not really the issue. And that's where I wanted to get at.
No,
She's
so I
the
don't think
feel like
so.
she's
I
caught in a situation. Because think about it. The ex-girlfriend, the girlfriend from before was
yeah,
was a byproduct. She was caught up in a situation. So
yeah.
it's like of him doing wrong.
Of him doing wrong, right? But
It is.
you know what's so fucked up, like, but that's why I never go at females, like, because even like with his ex-girlfriend, they wasn't supposed to get together. Me and that bitch was co-worker friends, but still to this day, I could pull up a text message where as though she fully fucking apologized, because she said I was dead ass wrong. I was young. I thought that shit was cool to do, and turns out the nigga dogged me the fuck out. That's why I left him the way
Because
and
of the
how I
lies
left
he
him.
was telling her. And like,
Right.
for me,
So
I don't really care about, like I said, I'm not going to speak too much on somebody I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I
right,
can speak on the person I know, which is Kyrie. I can speak
right,
on the fact that to me, if you look at his character and his patterns through his
child,
relationship, he is not trustworthy. He
at all,
loyal. He is not accountable. So
at
it's like,
all.
I only want to put that out there to forget this. All of the other women and girls, if you are considering somebody is courting you, because like you said, he loved bomb you. That so 9 times out of 10, he loved bomb these other girls and lied to these other girls and cheated on these other
Right,
girls. He did all the same thing. You ain't the
right,
only one. He didn't
right,
just cheat on you. He didn't
right.
just give you he did the same thing to other girls. So it's like, I'm just saying, I want that to be the focus point, not because he's dating a stripper. That doesn't even matter for real.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what's crazy? It really doesn't. It's the
It
fact
doesn't
of how
really
she
matter. That's
interjected
fine.
herself in the situation,
And that's
and she started
cool. Like I said, she
aggressively
put
coming
us
for me.
straight based
Yeah,
off of him. And all I'm
yeah,
saying, my whole thing is, if I had something to say to anybody, it would be watch out.
yeah.
Because my last question was, why do you feel so passionate about sharing your story and letting the world in and giving them your truth? And that's what we just talked about, because it's important to
I
warn
feel like it's
other
yeah.
women.
I
You
feel like
got
it's
to warn
important
people.
to warn other women, and not for nothing. Like, and I mean, we could definitely like go into like other details like on another show. But I definitely feel like in this situation, I really could have caught herpes. I really could have caught HIV. Like, I really could have been even more mentally fucked up behind it. But me, like, listening to like that little person in the back of my head, like, oh wait, this looked like the first time, and that nigga gave you motherfucking chlamydia, chill out. And not just that, like, with the whole turmoil of like just like his family disrespecting me just to protect him, it just further goes into show like exactly what you said. Like, nobody's holding him accountable. Nobody's saying, hey, what are you doing to even the playing field? Like basically what's being allowed is for this girl to, continuously come online disrespecting me. And that's why it's so big, and it's just it is completely out of hand, to whereas though it's completely random people coming at her because they like, shut the fuck up. Now at this point, this is a married man that's not even like fucking coexisting with his children, because you sitting back and you like behaving the way and how you behaving. But that's why
Yeah.
I'm such at a strong stance with, and I showed that in text messages online as well. My kids would never go around him. Never. Because the fact that he's allowing this, what the fuck's to say, like, what would go on
Yeah,
if I'm not right there with my kids?
it's an
And
unsafe situation. It's an unsafe
and
situation.
not and not even just that, like, a lot of what people don't know, his
But she
custody was
started with she was gonna beat you up. Then she started with, oh,
child. She did
I'm
say
gonna
she was
beat you
gonna beat
up.
me up.
Like,
She did say she was gonna
so
beat me
you
up.
went from you
So
gonna beat me up to, oh, let's meet and talk. Yeah,
okay.
the fuck?
And
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
and I feel
No.
like on top of all of that BS, we could definitely just throw this out there because we all know, like I've been exposing everything on my social media page. When Kyrie first learned about his diagnosis, we was at my house with my daughter's dad, and my daughter's dad was barbecuing, and Kyrie was cutting up fruit. Kyrie was intentionally like he cut himself and bled around like the smaller children. So in my head, and then no, like hearing the things that this poor misguided individual is saying, this is why the stance is so hard with like putting it out there, because it's like, don't get online and try to make it out like everything is unicorns and butterflies, whereas though you're disrespecting me. You're allowing this female to disrespect me. Mind you, I have not spoken to him, talked to him, or anything since April. And it's like, for a man not to like be on some shit like, yo, hey, don't do that. Like, I have kids with her. Like, shit, I still give her all of my money. I'm still legally married to her. Like, this shit could get ugly. A lawyer came into my DM yesterday, won't drop it, but I'm definitely going to use them for my divorce, and told me I can legally sue her. Because she, like, on top of everything else, like, one thing for certain, two things for sure, paperwork is everything. So paperwork in terms of the STDs, paperwork in terms of paternity for my kid, paperwork in terms of everything. And this is why people shouldn't intrude in on married people's business, because not only is she's going to cost her more money, but she's going to end up paying me too, because it's like, slow it down a little bit. So I say all this to say, if you out here and you fucking on a married man, you better pump your brakes, because you don't never know what the fuck is in store. You
And
never
even
do.
and even yeah, I feel like if you out here dealing with a man that has children, multiple children with one woman or multiple children with multiple women, just pay attention. And then, like, definitely, if he's still legally married, because if what y'all saying is true, if I'm so terrible and all of that, he ain't asked for a divorce. He ain't try to get divorced. He did not leave. He was forced away based off of his actions. So just so everybody can be clear about some things, when y'all are entering into relationships, please take a moment. Get to know the kids. If you can get to know the family first, if you could have a cordial conversation with the mother of the kids, because if you entered into a relationship with him in June, as you say, or became friends from this by June all the way up until, let's say, it was September, you never decided, how about we figure out somebody to contact your baby mom, or let's see if she would be willing to talk to me. If she's not willing to talk to me, I understand. But let's see if she's willing to talk to me. Let's see if we can figure out a way, like, to show that maybe you're more responsible or able to get your kids. No, that's not what y'all want. Y'all want to live the high life. Y'all want to live the club life. Y'all want to live the nightlife. Y'all cool. Y'all kid free. Y'all partying. Y'all having a good time. It's all fine and dandy. But
But
don't
I'm
be
getting called a
mad
bad mom
when the
online. Like,
person,
come on.
don't get mad when the other person that's not getting that help is upset. So, like I said, I do feel like she courted stray just based on her involvement with somebody. I do
Hmm.
feel like she handled it the only way she knew how. I do feel like in her mind, to her standard, that's what she want in her life, and that's fine. That's
Hmm.
okay. Those are your standards. That's what you want. That's cool. But it's like, I don't like the fact that people get down on you for how what your reaction is to a situation that came to you. That
Right.
situation came to you. You knew nothing about her. You would have never knew
Correct.
nothing if they weren't promoting this quote unquote, oh, we this relationship. No, I got a problem with, yeah, I'm gonna say it. I have a problem with someone that acted poorly and behaved badly to me and my kids, and you turn around talking about, oh, he's so great, this Mr. Wonderful. Nah, I got a problem with that, and I ain't finna be quiet about it.
At
So
all.
that's it. That's all. Y'all can clock that T if y'all want to, but
That
understand
part.
that, and y'all
We'll
figure it
be back again. Like we at that 2 hour mark. Y'all know how that shit go. But y'all got the interview questions. Like shoot them on to the website. It'll go to the fan base page. Nelly will conduct it. We all know Nelly the motherfucking Don can be a motherfucking hot head. So sometimes it's like keeping up with the motherfucking Kardashians with me. You gotta go back in series. But
out.
all these episodes will be posted on the Patreon. So go sign up for Patreon if you missed something because we don't have the time to keep retelling the story. However, the next interview date and time will be posted. But thank you to those of y'all that showed the heck up. Appreciate you.